Could a single sentence change everything? Under the blinding lights and flashing cameras, Jung Hae stepped forward, not for a role, not for a scene, but for love. His voice trembled, his eyes locked on hers. And then came the words that left an entire nation breathless. What led to this moment? How long has this secret been buried beneath the surface of fame and friendship? Red Carpet Revealed is here to uncover every heart-pounding detail. Let's dive into the true story behind the confession that shook the K-drama world. It was meant to be a night of elegance. Glimmering chandeliers bathed the Grand Walker Hill Hotel ballroom in golden light. The 2025 K-Drama Excellence Awards was in full swing. Actors in tailored suits and actresses in couture gowns glided down the crimson carpet as if floating on air. Reporters swarmed. Flashes snapped like fireworks. But behind the polished glamour, something far more real, far more unforgettable, was about to unfold. And no one, not the organizers, not the producers, not even Jung So-min herself, was prepared for what Jung Hae would say under the weight of 1,000 eyes and the piercing silence of live television. A night that began like any other. Jung Hae arrived quietly, as he always does, handsome in a deep navy tuxedo. Hair swept perfectly back. His demeanor remained calm, almost too calm. He posed politely, smiled for the cameras, and exchanged pleasantries with fellow actors. But something was different in his gaze that evening, an intensity. A quiet resolve that betrayed the calm exterior. Beside him, Jung So-min stunned in a pale ivory gown. The chemistry between the two, long whispered about but never confirmed, was almost too perfect to ignore. They had worked together on Autumn Whispers, a romance drama that captivated viewers across Asia. On screen, their emotions felt raw, electric. Off-screen, they had always played it cool. Too cool, perhaps. Until now. The turning point. Best On-Screen Couple Award. The program moved forward with rhythmic precision. Presenters handed out awards. Recipients bowed with rehearsed gratitude. Then came the announcement. Best On-Screen Couple. And when the names, Jung Hae and Jung So-min, echoed through the hall, it seemed like a fitting, if predictable, choice. They walked up together, elegant, poised. Applause rang through the hall. But the moment already felt charged. Jung So-min, graceful as always, accepted the award and leaned toward the microphone. But Jung Hae didn't let her speak. Instead, with measured steps, he moved to the front of the stage. His hand reached slowly for the microphone. The room stilled. The confession that stopped time. He didn't look at the audience. He looked only at her. So-min, he began, voice low but unwavering. I've waited a long time to say this, not as your co-star, not as your colleague, but as the man who has stood beside you in silence. He took a breath. I've always loved you. You could have heard a pin drop. The air changed. The murmurs halted. Every breath in the room was held hostage by that one sentence. Jung So-min blinked, caught entirely off guard. Her lips parted as if to respond. But no words came, only the tremble of her shoulders as she tried to process what was unfolding before her. Years in the making, unknown to the public, this moment was not spontaneous. It was years in the making. Behind the scenes, their connection had been genuine, born out of shared experiences on set. Long hours spent understanding each other's rhythms and vulnerabilities. Crew members whispered of lingering glances when cameras weren't rolling. Quiet conversations between takes. And the way he would subtly shield her from rain or wind during outdoor shoots. And yet, nothing was ever confirmed. Not a single tabloid photo. Not a single public slip. Jung Hae had kept it hidden. Buried beneath professionalism and restraint. But that night, something inside him snapped. The facade could no longer hold. According to one source close to the actor, he said he didn't want to look back and regret never telling her. He told us earlier that day. If I don't say it now, I never will. The silence that followed. For a long moment, Jung So-min said nothing. The weight of the confession hung heavy in the ballroom. The audience sat in stunned quiet, unsure whether they were witnessing a scripted moment or the unraveling of real emotion. Then she stepped closer. No words, just a soft, almost imperceptible smile, and a look, deep, tender, full of something unspoken. She reached out and touched his arm, her fingers trembling. In that instant, 1,000 spoken words would have meant less. After the lights dimmed, backstage, reporters waited, hoping for clarification, some official statement, some denial, some PR spin. But when the two emerged again, walking side by side into the corridor where cameras had been told not to follow, there was no performance left in either of them. Their hands found each other naturally, fingers interlacing like two people who had done this in dreams but never dared in daylight. Staff whispered behind closed doors. Some cried. One producer reportedly told his assistant, "That wasn't a moment, that was a lifetime beginning." No dramatic soundtrack played, no special effects, just silence, the kind that crackles with emotion. So Min turned to him, her eyes wide. For a heartbeat, the world stood still, a love hidden in the shadows, while their on-screen romance in Autumn Whispers had fans swooning. Both actors had always maintained a strictly professional front, despite countless fan theories and a few grainy paparazzi photos that never amounted to confirmation. There was nothing concrete to prove the bond between them, but insiders now claim the signs were always there. "I saw the way he looked at her between takes," said one crew member. It was never just acting. According to a stylist from the production team, Jung Hae had confided in her just hours before the ceremony. "I might say something tonight," he reportedly said, "because this feeling is too big to hold in any longer." The reaction that said it all. Jung So-min's response wasn't verbal. She didn't need words. She reached out, touched his hand, and smiled, a small, fragile smile that shimmered with the weight of unspoken years. There were tears in her eyes. Not the kind cried for cameras or roles, but something far more intimate. Backstage, chaos buzzed. Reporters scrambled for statements. Cameras followed their every step. But the pair exited the venue quietly, slipping out through a side corridor, fingers still entwined, a silence that speaks louder than words. Since that unforgettable night, both actors have remained silent. No press release, no Instagram post, no agency confirmation. The media waits, fans speculate, but perhaps their silence is more telling than any official statement could be. They haven't denied, they haven't hidden, they simply exist now, in a space where two people may have finally stepped into the light, together. What happens next? As the industry holds its breath, questions linger in the air. Is this the beginning of a public romance? Will this moment redefine their careers, their image, their future? Or was it a one-time declaration, a vulnerable leap made in the heat of emotion? For now, we don't have answers, but we do have that moment, raw, unrehearsed, and unforgettable. At the time of publishing, neither Jung Hae nor Jung So-min's agencies have released an official statement. But one thing is clear, their silence has become the sweetest kind of acknowledgement. Will a public love blossom from this quiet revolution? Is this a turning point not just in their personal lives, but in the way love stories are allowed to exist in the Korean entertainment industry? Only time will tell. Stay with Red Carpet Revealed as we continue to follow the next chapters of this unfolding love story, where the lines between fiction and reality are slowly, breathtakingly, disappearing.